would be your intention if you're forced to live in prison?
Do everything I can to escape, and if necessary, kill prison guards on the way out. And I'll go right back to doing what I did before as soon as I hit the streets.
Which is what?
Kill kids.
Kill and rape kids?
Yes.
So you should be executed for the safety of others?
Yes.
In September 4th, 1989, police received a call that a naked body of a child found near the Vancouver Land Bridge in Vancouver, Washington. It was soon determined that the body is of 4-year-old Lee Eisley, who was missing for 3 days while police were searching for him. They didn't expect that they would find him like this. Ligature marks were found on hands, legs, and neck. According to autopsy, Lee Eisley was raped and strangled to death. He was found without clothes, so it may have been a possibility that the killer has kept his clothing as a trophy, so any details of what Lee was wearing at the time of his disappearance would be helpful for detectives. Lee Eisley lived with his brother Justin Eisley and his dad. His father had the custody of the kids. The detectives went to the kid's mother as she could be a potential suspect. After talking to her and further investigation, she was soon eliminated as a suspect. It was also determined that Lee died a slow death, as ligature marks shows that they were tightened and loosened repeatedly. According to Lee's brother Justin, they were both in the park near their home with other kids. Justin was playing football with the others and saw Lee talking to a stranger. He came forward and told Lee to stop talking to strangers and get back to playing football. After a while, Lee was disappeared and nowhere to be seen. He and his other friend shouted his name and Lee was nowhere. He then ran to his dad, who called 911. Justin remembers the man appearance who was talking to Lee. According to Lee, he was tall and had a mustache. He was wearing blue shirt and blue cap. His details helped the authorities to come up with a sketch, which was published to a newspaper as a potential suspect. Most serial killers who are child abusers tend to have a history of child molestation, as they start abusing children at a very young age. So there's a great possibility that the killer that they are looking for must have been in a record for being a child abuser. These serial killers starts by molesting children, and then their curiousness leads to murder as well. It was now determined by detectives that their suspect must have had a record felony against a child before. Just 2 months before the murder of Lee, there was another murder that was not too far away from where Lee was found. It was the murder of 2 brothers, William and Cole Neer, who were both children and were abused and found dead in a field, just like Lee Eisley. The Neer brothers' case had some other similarities as well, as they had ligature marks as well on legs, hands, and neck, and they were molested too. But there was one thing that was inconsistent. Neer brothers were stabbed, whereas on the other hand, Lee Eisley was strangled and died a slow death. The detectives soon found out that the police already had a suspect for Neer brothers' case, of which they were confident that he is the killer. But he was soon eliminated as a suspect for Lee Eisley case, as he was in custody during the murder of Lee Eisley. Police talked to another child named Adam who was there when Lee was disappeared. His story doesn't match with Justin Eisley's story, as he told that Justin never came to tell Lee that he should not talk to a stranger. Adam remembered that the man had a green pickup truck and a German Shepherd. When asked Justin Eisley, he was just feeling very guilty about his brother, so he lied. He was playing football and never thought that this man could be dangerous. Police then published the sketch and the details about a green pickup truck and German Shepherd. After a few days, they received call from a guy who told that he had a green pickup truck and German Shepherd. His name was Thomas. When checking on his background, detectives finds that he had a history of child abuse. When asked about the murders, he denied it and told that he had no connection with them. He now became the prime suspect of the investigation. There was a bank outside the park where there was a CCTV camera just above the ATM. In the CCTV footage, a child running on the footpath near the road can be seen. He was wearing the same dress as Lee was wearing at that time. Soon there was a yellow car that stopped, and Lee stepped inside the car and went with him. The authorities then knew that the killer had a yellow car. Thomas do not own any car except his green pickup truck. He was soon eliminated as a suspect as well. After a few days, a man named Wesley Allan Dodd was arrested for sexual misconduct by trying to kidnap a boy, but his father caught him and called the cops. He fits with the description of the sketch. He also owns a yellow car, which was very much alike in the CCTV footage. At first, he denied any involvement in Lee Eisley murder, but after hours of interrogation, he confessed to kidnapping and killing Lee Eisley. Wesley Allen had the history of child abuse. He first started molesting at the age of 13 to his cousins, and even his younger brother. Dodd exhibited signs of severe disturbance from a young age. He had a fascination with violent sexual fantasies and displayed violent tendencies, including acts of animal cruelty. He struggled with social interactions and had difficulty forming relationships with peers. His social isolation likely contributed to his descent into criminal behavior. However, Lee Eisley was not his only murder. His next confession shocked the police department to its core. He confessed that he was the one who murdered Neer brothers. This confession had many doubts and questions raised at the police department at that time, as they have arrested a wrong guy for the murder of Neer brothers. The wrongfully convicted man was soon released. Wesley Allan Dodd told the officers that he approached Lee Eisley and said that he knew his father, so he is allowed to play with him. He gave Lee a toy and take him to his house. After abusing him, he strangled him until he passes out. He then gave CPR to him, to which he woke up. Dodd then strangled him again to death. According to Dodd, his first kill of Neer brothers with knife didn't give him much thrill, so he decided to strangle this time.
Why do you want to be executed?
I have to be. Because I will kill again. No, I would do it again. I've been molesting kids nonstop since I was 13 years old, over half my life. Anything happened, I can guarantee I'd do it again, and sooner or later I would kill another child. I've done it before, and at the time I liked it.
Your execution do any good?
I think it would. I think a few child molesters anyway are going to think twice before they do anything again.
How do you live with yourself daily?
At times it's not easy. I said there's times I think about what I've done. I think about some of the things the boys said before they died, and that's real hard to think about. At other times I just try to put everything out of my mind.
Do you look forward to dying?
In a way, yeah. I think it'd be a relief. I don't have to think about all these things anymore. And I know that's the only way I can guarantee I'm not going to hurt anybody else. Right now I can sit here and say I don't want to, but I know it'll happen.
What would be your intention if you're forced to live in prison?
Do everything I can to escape, and if necessary, kill prison guards on the way out, and I'll go right back to doing what I did before as soon as I hit the streets.
Which is what?
Kill kids.
Kill and rape kids.
Yes.
So you should be executed for the safety of others.
Yes.
Wesley Allan Dodd was sentenced to death in Oregon in 1994. He voluntarily waived his right to further appeals and requested the death penalty. As a result of his decision, the state carried out his execution by hanging on January 5, 1993. This execution was carried out by the authorities in accordance with the legal process. Dodd's case drew significant attention and raised important discussions about the handling and sentencing of violent offenders, particularly those with a history of sexually motivated crimes against children. His crimes and the circumstances surrounding his case played a role in prompting legislative changes in Washington and Oregon. Support us for more videos.